Welcome to podcast episode 196. Now, in this particular podcast, we'll be discussing a simple tracking method you can use to lose body fat. Now, it's just really important to firstly open up and realize and appreciate the key to fat loss is a calorie deficit. So in short, you need to be burning more calories than you're consuming. Now, how do you know if you're in a calorie deficit or not? It is very simple. If you're losing weight, you're in a calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight, that means you're not in a calorie deficit. That means you need to either decrease your calories or increase energy expenditure from more cardio. Now, that being said, there's actually a couple of important points to mention. Most people will typically say you need to be tracking your protein, carb, fat and calorie figures, but the reality is, with regards to nutrition within the fat loss phase, the two key factors you should be focusing on are the daily protein target, the daily calorie figure. Those two factors are the most important factors when it comes to nutrition and fat loss. So in short, your carb to fat ratio is really down to your personal preference. Now, that being said, I wouldn't suggest dropping your fat intake below approximately 15-20% because fat is important for hormone production, but once you've got that in place, the carb to fat ratio really is your personal preference. Now, the reason why this is so powerful is this makes the tracking process so much simpler. Rather than trying to track protein, carb, fat and calories, just focusing on protein and calories makes it that much simpler. In addition to that, you don't need to meet these targets with 100% accuracy. If you can get within approximately 10 grams of the protein target and then within approximately 50 calories of the calorie target, that will be ideal, and that's what I suggest to my coaching clients. And again, that just takes the pressure off. You're not having to meet each individual target with 100% accuracy. You've got a little bit of leeway. In addition to that, with regards to meal frequency, it doesn't really matter how many meals you're having throughout the day. It's all about the daily totals, and again, that takes the pressure off tracking, because instead of, say, having 4 meals throughout your day and thinking that you've got to split your protein intake divided by 4, or split your calories divided by 4, in short, it really doesn't matter if you have 2 meals or 10 meals, more calories in the morning, more calories in the evening. It doesn't matter as long as those daily totals are met. And again, that takes the pressure off tracking, because another good tip that I suggest to my coaching clients is, instead of consciously tracking each individual meal throughout the day, what you can do is just graze on food, add the food to MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal will automatically track this for you, and then at the end of the day, just look at MyFitnessPal, as long as you're sensible, and then you should still have calories and protein remaining, and then you can simply put together one meal to meet the protein target and calorie figure, and then you've met your daily total. So in that scenario, you're actually really just consciously tracking one meal. Again, you've got to be sensible throughout the day, not having a huge amount of calories, but if you're just grazing on foods throughout the day, add it to MyFitnessPal, not consciously thinking about it too much, and then the last meal of the day, that's the only meal you're consciously thinking about and consciously tracking. Therefore, you can meet the daily totals without it being overwhelming. In addition to that, when you reach any fat loss plateaus, as I mentioned before, and that means if you haven't reached your 0.5 to 1% weight loss target, that's always the goal in the fat loss phase. If that's not achieved, you need to either do more cardio, or you can decrease calories by 10-15%, keep protein constant, make that reduction from carbs or fats, or a combination of both. And again, that's going to mean you'll be busting through that plateau. But hopefully this simple tracking method makes tracking your food intake that much simpler. Instead of focusing carb, fats, protein and calories, just focus on protein, the daily calorie figure. Don't micromanage the meals, just focus on the daily totals. Therefore, you can achieve your fat loss goals with less stress and less overwhelm. So thank you very much for listening. If you're still yet to subscribe to the podcast, make sure you do so. Don't miss any episodes as these come out every single week. I'll look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care.